its way southeast. That's going to move eventually toward Bosque County, maybe around Hyco, northern parts of Hamilton County as well. Right now, that could have up to golf ball size hail associated with it. And it's not a mature supercell just yet, but as it makes its way off toward the southeast, we may get the potential of that becoming a little stronger, and we could start to acquire a little more rotation down toward the surface. And also with these thunderstorms here, they're struggling as of yet, but we do have new development now west of San Saba. These thunderstorms will be moving into a favorable environment where they can strengthen here over the next hour. And most models indicate that this right here will become some pretty intense thunderstorms within the next hour or so. So we will be watching these very closely as they continue off to the east. So this is going to probably pretty much go right to the south of Highway 84, between Goldthwaite and Gatesville, south of Evant, and again, we'll continue to watch that. So folks in Adamsville up to Evant, keep an eye on that. Goldthwaite, you're probably going to be just north of where this thunderstorm will be. Again, not severe just yet, but we do have that potential for them to intensify as they make their way off toward the east. So just because you're seeing sunshine now west of I-35, that does not mean the risk is over. The main storm system still has to come in. And again, we're going to be watching that one very closely as well as it makes its way right down Highway 6 pretty much as it works its way off toward the east-southeast. So folks from Meridian to Hillsborough, maybe even down to the north parts of McLennan County, we'll have to keep an eye on that storm. It's still a couple hours away, but we will keep an eye on that one. And then farther to the southeast, again, southeast of Waco, east of Marlin, this is where we have our tornado warning with our thunderstorm here. And again, it's taken an appearance of that hook right here now east of Marlin by about 3 miles or so. That will continue to work its way off toward the northeast. Again, not really seeing much on the velocity. Is this the GRK?
This is from the Granger radar site.
Okay, so this is from GRK. But it's very messy as of right now. But there still could be something that would develop here, and it could do it any time, and that's why we do have the tornado warning in effect. So folks in Cossie, we're keeping a close eye on this for you. Thornton as well, as this continues to make its way off toward the north and east. And we will probably just see more isolated activity now as we broaden our view once again. This is mainly going to be isolated activity that we are going to see. And this is what we were anticipating, that we'd have a few cells take over. So that's why I kept saying on social media, some folks will see thunderstorms today, others will miss out completely. And I think the farther north you are, the more chances we'll have for more intense weather. This one is heading off toward the northeast here, up toward Highway 84. So folks in Fairfield will watch that one. Again, this thunderstorm here, that will be making its way off toward the southeast and developing thunderstorms west of San Saba, southwest of Goldthwaite. That one will be making its way off toward the east. And again, these will be moving into a favorable environment to become severe as they get closer to the I-35 corridor. So 3 main cores that we're watching right now. There could be more develop as well, but it's something that we will continue to track as they make their way off to the east. Caleb?
We have one report to pass along for our Falls County storms from a spotter 5 miles northeast of Marlin, which would correlate well with where we're seeing potential rotation. Brief funnel cloud report. I don't know if this is still an ongoing funnel. It says a brief funnel report, so it may be that has come and gone, but that was a report made 5 miles to the northeast of Marlin, which I can actually find roughly 5. So our spotter would have been right about here, so perhaps sitting right on Highway 7 there and looking at that particular thunderstorm. So we do have a report of a funnel cloud a few minutes ago with this particular thunderstorm.
And as that continues to make its way off toward the northeast, again, it's probably going to move into a little more favorable environment. You can see those purples starting to show up. So we have a great updraft associated with this, and that will continue to make its way again closer to Thornton. So folks there, at least anticipate some hail. Looks like it is going up some here, maybe up to nickel to quarter size hail with this as it continues to work its way right across Highway 7 right now, just west of Cossie, and that will continue up into the Thornton area, maybe even into Grosbeck as well, where you do have a severe thunderstorm warning. You're not officially in the tornado warning polygon, but that could be coming as this continues to lift off toward the northeast. So if you live south of 164 here, heading down 14, and anywhere to the west of there, we need to go ahead and take your tornado precautions right now, as we don't have confirmation. We've had reports of funnel clouds with this, but no confirmation that anything has touched down as of yet. But remember, these continue to evolve. Now we are starting to see those greens and reds come a little more together right here, just to the west of Costa. Does that correlate with where the hook is?
Some of this may be in the clear slot. Let's
that
go
might be
ahead
in the
and
clear.
check the reflectivity.
Yeah,
It's a
that
little
might
bit
be some
displaced.
inflow that's trying to develop here. So at the very least, the inflow may be increasing here back into the storm where you saw those reds. So we may be seeing this trying to wrap up a bit more, but this does not correlate to where the hook is just yet, but we may be sucking in more air and allowing this to become a little more of an intense storm as it makes its way off toward the northeast. So that's something that we will continue to watch. Again, Marlin, you're fine now, so you can rest easy with this one. There may be more storms later on tonight, but with this one, it looks like it is well to the east of you. So folks in Thornton, it is moving up your way. And this is where we're going to be seeing the potential of a little bit of hail. Right now, I'm just moving across the county line. Again, nickel to quarter size hail associated with that. And then the potential for any rotation right in here as you head west of Cossey, just inside the county line of Falls. And that will continue to work its way off toward the northeast. Caleb?
Yeah, something we're also able to do is we can check out multiple radar sites. And sometimes, well, most of the time, we want to use the radar site that's closest to the storm. But if we choose a radar site that's farther away, we get a bit of an idea of what's happening in higher up in the storm as the radar beam shoots a little higher up into, say, elevation-wise. So I'm going to switch over to Fort Worth just briefly. And this looks messier. Again, we're looking higher up, so it's not quite as defined. But what I really want to do is look at the velocity from our Fort Worth radar site. So this is going to be shooting up into the middle levels of the thunderstorm, which might be able to tell us, again, some rotating characteristics in the mid-levels. So this has been illustrating this for the past half hour. The mid-levels of this thunderstorm have been pretty decently rotating now. What this hasn't done is been able to really take that rotation down strongly enough to the surface. Not yet. It's a possibility, but at least, we're seeing some signals of that take place from another radar site. It's farther away, so we're looking a little higher up into the storm. We go to this same product and we look at the Granger site, and it's going to look a little different. Naturally, because we're shooting at it from a different angle too. But this gives us a lower level of the thunderstorm, and as Matt was saying, inflow winds, or at least being wrapped up into the storm like this, picking up. It's not necessarily twisting yet because it's not necessarily where we see the updraft with the hook related to reflectivity there, but it's something we're going to watch. Here's the reflectivity view, the one that you're used to looking at, and this would be the part of the storm in question. So Cossey, as Matt mentioned, we've got Thornton down the line. These are locations where we want you to be in that shelter for the time being. I mean, it's going to be a pretty close shave for Cossey nonetheless. We just want you to play it on the safe side and be in your shelter at the moment. And this continues to work to the northeast. Matt, they did, of course, just put out an update to this warning. They trimmed part of Falls County out. They're still saying it's moving to the northeast at 35 miles per hour, and this still goes until, as I bring up this little banner here for you, it's going to go until 5:45, radar indicated rotation at this time.
So 5:45 on this thunderstorm as it makes its way off toward the northeast. Again, hail up to quarter size, that's 1 inch. And again, this is radar indicated. We have had reports of a couple funnel clouds with this. Nothing that has been reaching the ground, though, and we'll continue. West of Cossey now, you can probably see where that updraft is. And that, again, is probably going to pass just to the west of town as that makes its way off toward the northeast. And with that movement, northwest side of Cossey, you could be seeing this, I think, where, Highway 7 and 14 come together just on this northwest quadrant here. Mm-hmm. That's where we could be seeing that potential. So we will be watching that very closely. Again, if you're in Cossey, go ahead and take your storm precautions now. This will continue up to you folks in Thornton, at least with the hail part. So that hail part is moving off to the northeast. And again, you could get some quarter-size hail in the Thornton area. This storm could still intensify as well, so don't be surprised if we start to get bigger hail reports out of this as it makes its way off toward the northeast. But again, tornado warning in effect until 5:45 on that one. Let's go back to the San Saba stuff, see if that's intensifying at all. See a couple showers there in Bell County. This one's really struggling still. Southwest of Goldthwaite, the one west of San Saba, still not really taking off just yet, so that's some good news with these. But again, these are in a favorable environment. All it takes is just a little kick here, and we can get these things to go up just a little more than where they are right now. Then farther to the northwest, we do have the thunderstorm up here. This one is pretty concerning. You can see that little notch right in there. east of De Leon. That will continue just to the southwest of Stephenville. Again, officially not in our area, just a severe thunderstorm warning as of right now, but it is turning more to the right and heading more toward the southeast. And that's going to start ingesting more of this warm, humid air that we have over our area. As it moves more to the southeast, it's going right into the low-level flow of this. So if we were going to get a tornadic supercell later on, that's one that we're going to have to watch very closely west of Stephenville as it makes its way down Highway 6 and then eventually toward you folks in Hyco and then into Bosque County as well. I think on that track, we'd probably be looking at it coming here right into northwestern parts of Bosque County and then eventually maybe even closer to Meridian. And again, storms change, they evolve. We'll continue to track this potential very closely as it makes its way off to the southeast. But I would anticipate it's going to get close to Hyco, Meridian here over the next hour or so. So giving you a huge lead time here as it works its way to the southeast. This could be a long track supercell. We'll see if it can hold itself together. So far, it is doing that as it works its way off toward the southeast. And as we go back to the one in Falls County, again, these are isolated. We do have a couple showers south of Waco, but those are nothing to worry about as of right now. And this is the main thunderstorm here just to the northwest of Cossie. Again, here's Grosbeck up to the north, so just underneath the banner there. So it's still a little ways away from you in Grosbeck, but it is generally moving in your direction. So let's keep a close eye on this thunderstorm here. I think it'll stay south of you folks in Mexia, but it is there. We do still, again, kind of messy here as it works its way off toward the northeast. There is broad mid-level rotation. We know that. The storm is rotating above. It's just not translating down to the surface just yet, but it could get close to that as it works its way into parts of Limestone County. So again, if you live west of Highway 14 between Thornton and Cossie, we will have that potential for that rotation to get close to you. And again, some quarter-size hail. It looks like the main part of this now moving into the Limestone County area and out of Falls County. And again, this little hook is going to clip the northwest side of Cossie here where 14 and 7 come together. And then it will continue off to the northeast from there. Caleb?
Yeah, we're looking at some reports behind the scenes. We've got, this is from, it's a little ambiguous. We've got a report from the EM out there in Limestone. It's just listed, it says tornado, train spotter, location incoming, entering Limestone County. That's the description, Highway 14 near Cossie. I think it's
so they're indicating a tornado.
It's just worded as tornado, train spotter. This is straight from the EM, the emergency manager there. Location incoming, entering Limestone County, Highway 14 near Cossie. That's straight from the chat that we're looking at behind the scenes. Okay, a new update with that, just west of County Line Highway 7. So that's the report that's come through the feed here. A spotter via the emergency manager there saying that it just says tornado, location incoming, entering Limestone County. I wish we had a little bit more info than that. It's a little bit vague, but that's just come down the wire here.
All right, so we have a possible tornado now. That could be here, just to the west of Cossie currently. That will continue off toward the northeast. Let's put a storm track on this, more toward the northeast. So again, it'll eventually cross Highway 14, likely between Cossie and Thornton. So here's where we're going to have that around Thornton about 5:35. So that really hasn't changed that much. And then we like to put some landmarks out here. So if you live in rural sections, you can see where that is. So churches, always a good landmark, schools as well. So that's why we do put those on there. So you know exactly where this is going to be going as it makes its way off toward the northeast. Again, we are getting some reports now that a possible tornado is here just to the northwest of Cossie, east of Stranger, now just inside the county line of Limestone County, about 2 to 3 miles west of Highway 14 as that comes down out of Thornton and then again around Cossie. You could be getting some strong winds in Cossie, some good inflow winds. If we do indeed have a tornado there on the southeast side, you can get those strong winds to be blowing in. So even if you're not under the tornadic part in Cossie, you still may be getting some pretty strong winds out of the southeast that are blowing into this thunderstorm, and those can top 50 plus miles per hour. So we still may be seeing a little bit of tree damage, maybe some roof damage that will be possible in the Cossie area, and then that will continue off toward the northeast. So here's Thornton here again. If you live between Thornton and Cossie on 14, Let's get you in your storm shelter. Let's go ahead and tell people exactly where they need to be.
Absolutely. We do have places that we want you guys to be in the event of something like this. And when it comes to taking shelter, we've got some places that are advisable and some that are not. So let's talk about that real quick. When it comes to a storm like this, here's what we're looking for. We want you guys to be in the center part of your house, and not just the center, but the lowest level of your home. And for a lot of us, that is just the ground floor. Now, if you've got a storm shelter, one that's built in, or maybe it's above ground, in ground, that ideally would be the number one place. Otherwise, lowest level of your home in a center room, in an interior room. That's going to be where you want to be at this time, away from windows, putting walls between you and the outside. Want to distance yourself from the outside in a situation like this. So once you're there, there's still more steps you can do to protect yourself. You can cover your head. We've got helmets, maybe your old baseball helmets or a bike helmet. That would work great. Put those on, protect your head, and you can cover yourself up too. Get some protection, some padding. Blankets, pillows. Some people like to get the mattress off their bed and they're in the bathroom because that might be their most interior room. They put that over them as they're in the bathtub. That works. It's going to be, something you wouldn't normally do, but we want you to take that step in order to keep yourself safe in this particular scenario. Now, mobile homes, manufactured homes, we don't want you to be there. That is not the place to be right now, and hopefully you have reviewed a plan of action so that now you know that this is the time to take that plan of action. Mobile homes need to be left at this point. You've got some time if you're in Thornton. Those areas, you have time to leave that and get to your more sturdy shelter, but a sturdy shelter is a must if you're in a mobile home and you are downwind from a tornado warning like this. So those are the steps you can do to protect yourself and your family as we're getting into this situation. We're going to go back to radar here, Matt, and we'll have Matt detail this for us, what we've got left with this thunderstorm.
Yeah, very good information right there. There's your tornado warning here, south of Groesbeck right now in Limestone County. Another storm that's developing south of Waco as well. That one's starting to slowly intensify. So that's north of Lorena right now, moving toward Waco. We will be watching that. We have that on our Clark roofing cam right now. Let's go ahead and look south out of Waco. And again, we do have that, and you can see the base of that thunderstorm starting to develop here. Precipitation off toward the east side of this. Again, this is a developing thunderstorm that will be moving into Waco. We'll see if it can start to attain some characteristics here of becoming a supercell, but it's definitely very vertical in its growth right here on this west side. So this could be one to watch here as it works its way off to the northeast. Probably won't become severe over Waco, but northeast of Waco, we'll keep an eye on this one. As again, that's on the south side of town right now. What you're looking at, that is Hillcrest, Scott and White right here, and that is Highway 6, and that is also as you look back toward Highway 6 and then beyond. So we are looking at that potential as we're looking south out of Waco and down toward the south and southwest. So we are going to be watching that storm develop there. Again, other thunderstorms developing south of Gulfway. Also this one here, that'll be coming on the west side of Stephenville. That one will be getting close to Hyco and Meridian, and then the one into Limestone County. As you can see, they're kind of few and far between, and this is what we were afraid of. We don't like to see individual storms like this. When they're all together, they fight each other for energy. We're not getting any fighting right now. These all can attain their own energy. They're well away from each other, so we may have a few cells that may try to become dominant here over the next hour. That one, and this one right over here, south of Waco, and then the one across southern parts of Limestone County. So not everyone's going to see severe weather tonight, but where it does occur, it could be pretty intense. And again, we have had that report of a tornado. Caleb, do we have anything else on that?
It's reaffirming from the emergency manager there at 5:30, so 2 minutes old now. Confirmed sighting north of Cossie, 2 miles north of Cossie. That's the latest from the emergency manager, relaying spotter reports here in southern Limestone County.
All right, that's Rebecca Snow there. That is in charge of Limestone County. So we do have a tornado now that is just 2 miles north of Cossie. That's moving on 14. This is going to be it right in here. Again, the radar having a little hard time with this in the lowest levels, but we are seeing definitely that potential of a tornado just north of Cossie. It said 2 miles north of Cossie, moving its way off toward the northeast. Folks in Thornton, we need you to get in your storm shelter now. I know this is a scary situation for you. Hopefully you've already planned on what you're going to do before a thunderstorm is hit, but we do have a confirmed tornado with this. Now, that is moving right along Highway 14, and it will continue up into the Thornton area. So folks in Thornton, especially as you head east of 14, east of Thornton, and then into rural sections of southern parts of Limestone County. This is where this is going to be going. Again, around Thornton, around 537. So here in the next few minutes, and again, that's moving off to the northeast. You're going to get rain, you're going to get hail first, mixed in with this, and then on the backside of this. So if you try to look at this right now out of Thornton, try to go outside and look at it, you're not going to see anything. You're going to see a lot of rain and a lot of hail, but you're not going to be seeing much in the way of any substance with the base of this thunderstorm or anything like that, because you're just stuck in the rain right now. Let us do our job here. Let us be the one to tell you that you're not going to see anything. Go ahead and be in your storm shelter. Get away from south and west facing windows right now of any structure here, as the wind will be rushing in from the south out ahead of this, and then eventually come out from the west on to the west side of this. So again, if we have any wind-blown hail, we don't want anyone to be hurt by that. We've seen this before where you can get that and it starts to break windows and things like that. We don't want you to do that. Again, hail doesn't seem too large right now. That's good news, small to maybe some pocket change size hail. I think the main threat with this currently is going to be the stronger winds that we're going to see with this, with that tornado that is now to the south. This has been confirmed. We had one just west of Cossie. Now we have one just to the north of Cossie, between Cossie and Thornton on Highway 14 right now. If you know anyone on 14 heading south out of Groesbeck, if they're traveling at all, make sure they know about this. Give them a call, say, hey, do not go toward Thornton right now. Do not come up from the south toward Cossie right now, as we do have a tornado that is likely now about 3 to 4 miles to the north of Cossie.
Yeah, you're right, Matt. And we do want to make sure that the tornado is the prime focus of this, but I do want to chime in on the hail threat. Before, a few minutes ago, we had reports of dime and nickel-sized hail in Thornton, and that was before the hail corps got there. So now they're experiencing what will likely be larger hail, or at the very least, a little more hail. The volume could be increasing, but I wouldn't be surprised if we had some quarter-sized hail in this. But I want to walk you through kind of what we're seeing here on velocity. And this is, of course, what we're going to look at when we're talking about the rotating winds inside a thunderstorm that can tell us a lot about the tornado potential. We have confirmation, so it may not look like a lot here, but something is spinning. We've got winds blowing towards the Lake Ranger site right here and away right here. And the inflow winds may be rather strong because you can see the highlighted colors there getting up into the pinks, the brighter shades, but we want to know where those meet, and it's going to be right about here, and that would put it right over Highway 14. We can double check that by putting the reflectivity over it, and it would be more or less where we'd expect to find it. You could say that this is a hook here or here, but either way, something's rotating and spinning here. Last we heard, 2 miles north of Cossie was a confirmed tornado. This would be a little bit more, I'd say, north-northeast of Cossie now. It could still be a tornado in progress. We're just waiting on more word. Again, it may not look the most impressive from a radar standpoint, but that's why it's helpful to have spotters and ground truth and people who can see it with their eyes and tell us maybe some things that we can't pick out immediately on radar. So I'm going to say pay very close attention to what comes on through with the National Weather Service chat, see if we get more information there. But like you said, Matt, Thornton and places in southern Limestone County, especially to the northeast of Cossie, want to keep you guys in your safe place for the time being.
And this is not a classic looking supercell that you see. We don't have that big hook and then maybe a debris ball down here or anything like that. This is almost looking kind of like my West Texas days, where a low precipitation supercell that is trying to make its way off toward the northeast. Looks like the most dangerous part. That's the latest scan coming in just to the southeast of Thornton right now. If you live anywhere southeast of Thornton, east of Highway 14, and then toward the county line, you need to be in your storm shelter right now. I do think this is going to go south of you folks in Groesbeck the way it looks right now. But if we do have that twisting, it's probably about 2 to 3 miles south of town now on Highway 14, south of Thornton currently. And that is making its way off toward the northeast. Let's broaden our view just a bit so we know where the rotation is right there. Here's Groesbeck up here. It looks like that this is going to probably cross just to the south of Groesbeck right now. So hopefully that trend continues. But if you live east of Groesbeck, south of 164, east of Highway 14 to the county line there, this is where we need you in your storm shelter. Out ahead of this, you still may get strong winds, blowing into the parent thunderstorm. So you don't actually have to be in the tornadic part of this to maybe see some stronger winds that are inflowing here southeast of Thornton, and starting to get some rain here at the studio as well. So we are seeing more thunderstorms starting to develop. But again, your hail core is now just to the east of Thornton. You could be still getting a little bit here, but I do think things will be improving in Thornton here in the next, let's say 5 to 10 minutes. Not giving you the all clear just yet, but hopefully this tornado is staying just to the southeast of town and making its way off toward the northeast. So Personville, this is where we're going to have to be watching you very closely to the east of Groesbeck. I mean, keep an eye on that. And then eventually over into Freestone County, south of Teague, we may be looking at that moving your way as well if that continues to work its way off toward the northeast. So Personville around 6:04 is where we'll have that. And as that moves off to the northeast. Also want to say now it is 5:38. So this is our Sunday newscast at 5:30 here on 25 ABC KXXV. And thank you for joining us. We do have a tornadic supercell that is making its way across parts of southeastern Limestone County. And again, it's mainly going to be south of Highway 164, the way it looks right now, and making its way off toward the north and east. Let's take it back to the reflectivity mode. Let's look back to the west. Looks like a little cell developing here, south side of Waco currently as well. Nothing severe as of yet. And it doesn't look like much, but it's producing the rain right now. We can definitely hear that, but these little storms can become bigger storms as that continues off to the northeast. So folks around Axtell and then up in the southeastern parts of Hill County, let's keep an eye on this just in case it wants to start to strengthen a little bit more here over the next 30 minutes or so. And then back toward the west, let's take a look at those thunderstorms here. The one south of Stephenville now, that one still has its sights set here, probably near Hyco, heading down toward Meridian as it's now moving off toward the south and east. Wouldn't be surprised to get across northern parts of Hamilton County, far northern parts, near Hyco, and then into Bosque County. Wouldn't be surprised to get another severe thunderstorm warning out of this as it continues to make its way off toward the south and east. This is where we do have meteorologist Josh Johns. He's in our 25 Storm Wrangler. He's just northwest of Meridian right now. He'll have a perfect view that will be coming up toward coming down toward the southeast. I think we do have a live shot out of that as of right now from the Storm Wrangler. Oh, we don't have the shot, but let's try to get that shot up as that storm will be moving down toward the southeast. So that one will be moving into our area here in about 30 minutes or so. This one's strengthening now south of Gulf Wade, and the models have really picked up on this one for successive runs. This may become a pretty big thunderstorm here over the next 30 to 60 minutes as it works its way off toward the east. So not severe as of yet, but something definitely to keep an eye on as it is moving into a favorable environment. It's been struggling so far. I think the cap has held on a little longer, but now we're getting that afternoon heating, that sunshine. Again, it's sunny west of 35 now. And you're like, oh, great, that's wonderful. No, it's not, because that means more heat energy getting into the atmosphere. And that means that these can take off a little bit faster. So we will be watching that as it has been struggling, but it does look like it's intensifying now. Southern parts of Mills County, that will make its way off toward the east, probably just south of Highway 84 here. So we'll be watching that one closely as well. Then we have the cell that's up here near Stephenville. That one will be moving toward Bosque County, far northern parts of Hamilton. We have the little cell developing over Waco, not severe. And then we have our tornadic storm here south of Groesbeck into Limestone County. And we've had reports of tornadoes with this, and you can see that hook echo now about 3 to 4 miles southeast of Thornton now. That will continue to work its way off toward the east. Any updates there?
We do have an update, again, from the emergency manager there in Limestone County. Multiple spotters seeing possible second funnel. The words are possible second funnel. This was 3 to 5 miles north of Cossie, exactly where we were tracking it a moment ago, saying it was there along Highway 14. They're saying it's possibly heading into the Lake Limestone area, and this would correlate well with what we've been observing. We are getting some interference here a little bit from the radar side, but what we're indicating here would be something that is still spinning. Again, last thing we've heard from people on the ground was that possible funnel clouds were involved in this, so we know for that it still is a spitting thunderstorm. National Weather Service is saying we're going to continue with a new tornado warning for the Limestone cell. It'll be this one, mostly for southern Freestone County, still rotation present even if a tornado has briefly lifted. So Matt, sounds like we're going to get an extension of this tornado warning coming very soon.
Okay, so it does sound like the tornado has lifted. But we are still getting reports of funnel clouds coming from this, so we're not in a clear zone just yet across the southern parts of Limestone County. So we're going to get a new warning to the northeast of this. That means that's going to include you folks in Freestone County, south of Teague, probably west here of 45. We'll wait for that polygon to show up in red. But with that, we will be seeing that move off toward the northeast. Thornton, you're on the back side of this thing now. It looks like in the next couple minutes, things will be improving very rapidly for you folks in the Thornton area. And this will now be east of 14 problem and south of 164. So folks in Personville, this will be moving your way. And it looks like that's right there near the county line. So as that makes its way off to the northeast, that's where we'll have more potential to see a few more spin-ups with this as it makes its way there. Also, out ahead of this, since it's moving off to the northeast, you're going to get rain and a little bit of hail before you get anything else. So it's already starting to rain along 164 there east of Groesbeck. That rain's going to get heavier. You may get some hail out of that as well. And then on the other side of the rain curtain, that's where we'll have the potential for some tornadic activity as that works its way off toward the northeast. It's over very rural sections of southeastern Limestone County now. This will stay south of you folks in Groesbeck. This will stay south of you folks in Mejia. So Mejia and Groesbeck, this storm will likely not impact you unless something really weird happens and it starts going to the north. But it is on a northeastward track right now, and it will continue toward Highway 164. There's the brand new warning. Caleb, let's get the info.
Absolutely. It is brand new, and the text from the National Weather Service indicates it is a confirmed tornado located 4 miles southeast of Thornton. That's probably straight from our emergency managers out there. Quarter-sized hail also possible with this. Weather spotters have confirmed a tornado. It is moving to the northeast at 30 miles per hour. Matt, goes into effect until 6:30. It's for southwestern Freestone, west central Leon, and southeastern Limestone County.
So it seems like we have a cyclical supercell here, and what that means is it's cycling. The tornado will go up, it occludes, then we get another tornado off to the northeast, and that's what we're getting right now. So confirmed tornado again, southeast of Thornton. Thornton, this is not going to be for you. That is the good news with this. But if you live in Personville, that is moving your way. You need to go ahead and seek shelter now. There's where we see the broad area of rotation right here. Green's coming back. There's your stronger winds, that inflow wind probably going straight into there as well. So again, a confirmed tornado southeast of Thornton and making its way off toward the north and east. And again, this thunderstorm is all by itself. So it doesn't have anything to compete against really. So this one may continue for a while as it makes its way off toward the northeast. So if you live anywhere east of Groesbeck on 164 to the county line of Freestone, you need to be in your storm shelter right now. Put as many walls between you and the outside. Get away from windows, lowest floor of your home or business. And if you live in a mobile home, hopefully you have a place of safety to go. Folks in Teague, we'll be watching this one closely for you, and hopefully not getting up toward Fairfield, but we'll be watching it as it makes its way off toward the northeast. But if you live south of Teague there in Freestone County, it looks like that will be moving your way. They also put parts of Leon County into this over toward the Jewett area. So we're just in case this thing wants to turn off toward the right, and that's what they sometimes can do, is turn to the right. So again, a broad area right here, but I really do think it's going to come right down the middle and probably cross where 164, Limestone, Freestone County lines all come together right about that point right there. That's going to be making its way, again, off toward the northeast. Staying south of east of you folks in Groesbeck right now, and will eventually be making its way across southern parts of Freestone County. So folks in Freestone County, we need to keep a close eye on this, especially if you live south of Fairfield there from I-45 back toward the west. That's where we will have the potential of this coming across. Now, with that, confirmed tornado. Let's go to the one back south of Goldthwaite again. I don't think that one's severe as of yet, but it's just holding on. It's holding its own here. Southeast of Goldthwaite, we'll continue to see this kind of pulse up and down, but it is moving due east, and we do have that potential right there with that thunderstorm. Then we have the storm that's up to the northwest. This one, that's taking on the eagle right there. See how the wings are spreading out there, and there you go. Yeah, this is one's going to have to be watched very closely as it makes its way down to the southeast. This is the one we do have meteorologist Josh Johns on in our 25 Storm Wrangler. He is live with us right now. Josh, where are you and what are you seeing?
Hey, Matt, we are actually between Iredell and Meridian right now along Highway 6. We've got a shot that's pointed out to the west, so go ahead and take that shot out to the west. And we really can't see much just yet, but we have noticed the clouds are a little bit darker than what we've been seeing, and that storm continuing to work down to the south. It's about 20 miles from us right now. We're sitting here waiting for it to approach us, but on radar at least, it looks mean, and we're ready to watch as it comes into Bosque County.
All right, so that is meteorologist Josh Johns and our 25 Storm Wrangler, brand new tool this year. And again, we do have a lot of mid-level rotation with that thunderstorm as it continues down the southeast, and you can see the darkening horizon there across Bosque County right now as that works its way off toward the southeast, and those skies will continue to get darker and darker. And eventually we're going to see more base with this, and we'll be able to know exactly what's going on underneath that. Haven't had any reports of wall clouds, have we?
No, I've been monitoring the chat from Fort Worth, of course, taking care of all these storms we're talking about. We've heard some hail reports, but nothing with this thunderstorm concerning wall clouds as of yet.
Okay, so that one, again, it's getting mature. And the longer it goes, the more it can hold that shape that you see right there. Well, this one could become one of those supercells that is more long track. And it's moving almost due southeast now. So I would say this is going to move north side of Hamilton County near Hyco, then to near Meridian. This could eventually work its way down toward McLennan County if it continues on that. And these are the ones we have to watch very closely. The ones that turn to the right like this, they can go tornadic on us. So we will be watching this one very closely. Lots of hail associated with this storm. What's the current hail size with this?
I believe they've warned it for $50. Let's bring up the auto queue, and that, let's see. So 1.2, yeah, so roughly in that $50 size range for this particular thunderstorm.
All right, so again, you can see the reds and greens there. This is mid-level, so this is a big hail producer as of right now. So it may continue to be a big hail producer as, again, it's all by itself, has nothing to fight with here. And there is our hail tracker, and you can see those darker colors right there going right with $50. So we are right on par with what the Weather Service is seeing out of that as well. So at the very least around Hyco, western parts of Bosque County, probably going to have some $50 size hail rolling your way.
Yeah, that's right. And in fact, this is not involving any severe thunderstorm warnings for Bosque County yet. But you know, I'm just going to go ahead and put a storm track on that because I think it's only a matter of time till we get one. So motion on this is not very fast. It is, I believe, 30 to 35 miles per hour. So what I'm going to do is draw a track on that. I'm going to try to grab here what would be the hail core and move it down to the southeast. We'll even take it out for another 47 minutes, put it all the way into Meridian there. And so just giving you guys a heads up, Duffau at 5:55. We've got Flat Top Ranch at 6:15. These are rural areas, but you may know some of these places. Walnut Springs at 6:20 and Morgan at 6:35. No severe thunderstorm warning yet for Bosque County. I would imagine one is going to happen because this is not showing signs of slowing down. Has the potential for some hail. I believe we have some hail reports with that storm already, according to the National Weather Service. And it's going to keep on chugging. Has nothing to compete with. It's moving into an atmosphere that is still favorable. So naturally, Matt, once we get a word on that storm, if new warnings come down, I'll let you know.
All right, so let's broaden our view once again and just show people where all these storms are. And again, they're all by themselves here. We do have a couple developing near Temple, south of Waco. This one that will be moving into Bosque, far northern parts of Hamilton County. This one trying to intensify now southeast of Gulfway. Our tornado warned storm that had multiple reports of tornadoes east of Thornton and now just to the southeast of Groesbeck. That will continue off to the east. So if you have plans tonight, it's Sunday evening, it's Palm Sunday. If you are heading out to church for this evening, make sure you know where the safety precautions and what you're going to do if one of these storms moves your way. Know where your loved ones are going to be. I know a lot of folks will head out. You may take the kids off to church, drop them off at youth group to come back home. Make sure you are keeping abreast of all the latest situation here as these storms will continue off toward the east and then eventually the southeast as well. So again, this is going to be well to the southeast of Groesbeck, probably about over 5 miles at least, down to the southeast. So we are seeing that, again, some very strong winds here on the base of this. So we're talking about 10 to 11 miles to the southeast of Groesbeck, and that will continue off to the northeast. So if you live across rural sections south of 164, let's keep you in your storm shelter right now. And then eventually it'll make its way over toward Freestone County. And again, this is pretty rural country, but we need to cover those people as well, as we are going to likely get some quarter-size hail out of this south of Personville there, and then continuing off toward the north and east. Let's go back to the one in Mills County as well.
Okay.
So we've had tornadoes with that. Nothing's really developing quickly here between Corsicana and Waco. That's good news. This got a nice little core on it. Southeast of Gulfway, it's holding its own. It has come up just a little bit. We'll see if this will continue to grow. That's going to pass between Evant and Adamsville, and it will continue to work its way off toward the east. So that one could be one moving toward Coryell County. So folks in Gatesville will keep an eye on this thunderstorm as well. Nothing too significant as of yet, but it's maintaining itself. We're starting to see a little more lightning associated with it as well. So I think this is still in its infancy, but it will be growing as it continues to make its way off toward the east. And then the one that we do have meteorologist Josh Johns on, that one, again, will be working its way off toward the southeast, and it's got a nice core on it as well. This one also by itself, and it's moving into the flow. And what I mean by that is you have the thunderstorm moving down like this. At the surface, you got a southerly flow going into it. That usually maintains a supercell. You got the gasoline in the tank, and it has nothing to compete with out here. So it's going to be moving on down Highway 6 and continuing down toward the southeast from there. Any new information from the Weather Service?
Yeah, actually, I'm logging back in, just had some technical difficulties back here, but I believe the last thing I've heard from Fort Worth is that, actually, this is brand new as of 30 seconds ago. Okay, so continuing from our emergency manager reports there in Limestone County, indicating a tornado on the ground, Farm to Market Road, 1246, headed north-northeast. And the time stamp on that is going to be pretty much 5:53, so that is Farm to Market Road.
So we still have a tornado on the ground.
That is a new development, because previously they were just saying funnel clouds. It's now, according to spotters, back on the ground, and that is Farm to Market Road, 1246. Closest estimate
let's zoom in close here.
North of Old Union.
So this will be south of Personville. Let's keep going in here. So right in here. That's going to be that one right there. And there's FM 3371. That splits off, and again, that's going to continue off to the northeast. It's now east of FM 937 as it works its way off toward the north and east. So there's 779. Again, 3371 heading up toward 39 south there, right there inside the county line. So we have all these farm to market roads out here. Again, very rural, but we still have folks that live out here. If you're southeast of Groesbeck, best thing you can do right now, be in your safe place until we give you all clear. It'll all be done here in about 10 minutes or so, but we have had another report of a confirmed tornado. So again, it's producing the tornado, it lifts for a second, it produces another tornado, it lifts for a second, then it goes back down again. So a cyclical tornadic supercell going on currently that is southeast of Groesbeck. We can zoom back out just a little bit.
Yeah,
Again,
I'm looking
there's
at
Fair Oaks.
Farm to Market 937. In fact, that's their new report still on the ground. So Farm to Market 937.
So
You
just
can,
east of there.
Just
So,
east
yeah,
of there.
We're probably looking just east of here, a couple miles. They're giving us the closest landmark here is 937, which runs right in here, but they're looking probably eastbound. Let's go a little farther in, and I think that's 3371 here that runs out of here, and that will continue to make its way off toward the east. So again, rural sections of the area. If you live on County Road 749, County Road 779, County Road 752, and 822, this is moving in your general direction. So right along FM 3371 as it works its way off toward the northeast. So if you are on one of those county roads I just stated, make sure you're in your storm shelter right now. You're probably seeing a little bit of hail, some wind, maybe some quarter-size hail as well as that works its way off toward the north and east. So again, we're going to continue to track this very closely. Let's broaden our view. Let's go in, a confirmed tornado with this as it makes its way toward the Donnie area, and that's going to be just inside Freestone County on 164, making its way off toward the north and east. So we'll track this part of the thunderstorm right in here, make its way off toward the northeast. And again, you can see we put several landmarks on here for you. Be near Freestone at 614, Union Church at 611, and then Fair Oaks at about 605, going kind of backwards in time for you there. But It's, again, no major cities in the impact zone, but we will have the potential for at least rural sections to still be affected by this. So mainly south of 164 now, Groesbeck.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. High blood pressure silently affects millions of Americans. Staying on top of your blood pressure is as simple as these 4 easy steps. Self-monitoring is power. Visit manageyourbp.org to learn more.